World Combat Sports. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. This is World Combat Sports. I'm your host today, Scotty White, and it's going to be another hitter as always. This is your catch weight segment, 710. And for those of you that's wondering why I'm choosing to implement my catch weight media, it's the fact that it's not the first time I did it, but I cover boxing and MMA, period. So therefore, whenever it's catch weight, it's going to be strictly about boxing, period. I know a lot of people have been asking me to basically separate the two, and that's exactly what I'm doing. It's not hard, it's not difficult. I understand where they're coming from. That's why certain people, tune in if it's a boxing description, and others, they choose to walk on by. But it's all good, man. Let's get to it. For those of you that's in the building, hit that thumbs up button, share the content, and if you choose to, just make it a point to subscribe to the channel, pass the word to others about the channel. I got to start off. Hey, TJ Joyner, what's good with you, man? Thanks for stopping through. So, those of you fight fans, as you probably heard, I got some pretty good topics. You know what I'm saying? As always, I got pretty good topics. I want to start off talking about the one and only Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson. Now, what separates these two individuals is they stopped boxing at different times, okay? And they pretty much ended in a weight class where you had some heavy hitters that came up through the ranks at that point in time. Also, another significance is Evander Holyfield was able to win his last two out of three bouts. You know what I'm saying? And Mike Tyson lost twice. You know what I'm saying? And is that any indication of what's to come if these two link up? I'm going to tell you straight up. I really don't want to see our Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield fight one another. I'll be absolutely honest. I don't need to see that right now. 57 years old. 57 years old. Vice a 53-year-old. I don't want to see that right now. But this is what I may want to see. All right? Because I got respect for both fighters, legends of the sport. They earn their merit and their badges, right? This is what I like to see. This is a lot that's been going on lately in combat sports. I would rather see something of entertainment value if them two plan on coming back as an exhibition against whoever. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw some names out there, right? But being that boxing hasn't quite picked up yet, from what my understanding is, give or take, a couple of months from there, we might see boxing back in the groove and see the cylinders start to turn, right? So I was thinking to bring the fans to tune in to Mike Tyson's exhibition, because Mike Tyson, check this out, Mike Tyson is absolutely still have people out here raising the eyebrow, man, when he put that video out. When Mike Tyson put that video out of him hitting the mitts. Now, for me, I'm gonna be absolutely honest. The mitts don't do anything for me. I pretty much know Mike Tyson has seen him hit the mitts before back in the day, and it looks just as intimidating. But I'm gonna tell you, him making that short video clip with Jaws 4, 5, and 6 music in there, I was saying to myself, that shit looks entertaining for the fans. And you hear a lot of people in these groups, they saying Mike Tyson, he ready. Look, listen, he is ready. He's ready for the mid session. I'm going to use his terminology just like he used when he mentioned it. Everybody look good on the mitts until they get punched in the mouth. That's just being honest. What's going on, Dundada? Salute, man. I'm just being honest, man. Everybody look good on the mitts until they get punched in the mouth. You feel me? So I wouldn't want people to get it misconstrued that Mike Tyson at 53 years old, last two fights he lost to individuals that, wasn't something that should be on this level, but Mike Tyson was what he was before he exited the sport. But for him to come back and make a video clip, and he's hitting the mitts with somebody that he's comfortable with, because in order for you to make those mitts and the drill look nice, you have to have a two-part scenario that meshes together well. And that's what he had. He had a nice mitt holder, and he himself has been hitting mitts, obviously, because he was one of the best to lace them up back then, right? And what's going on, Torrey Savage? Salute, man. And the routine was really nice. It was good for the camera. All the turns, all the damn dramatic climactic music, the suspense, the intrigue. I liked all that shit. But listen, if Mike Tyson is gonna come back, let's give the exhibition the entertainment value it deserves, right? How about this? This would be great for TV. Great for TV. Some boxers don't want to do this shit, but they want to praise Tyson Fury for going to the WWE. But you have to understand, Floyd Mayweather was in the WWE. Plenty of boxers have went over to World Wrestling Entertainment, right? So listen, Mike Tyson is in a smaller venue or whatever, to come back. He looks in phenomenal shape with his shirt on, right? So you get Mike Tyson in one corner, and you pretty much have it set up as to one fighter that's going to face Mike Tyson. Just say a Shannon Brigg. All right. Just say, let's go champ is the one he's supposed to face. Right. Say, for instance, Mike make it to the ring first. Everybody's all hyped up. Shit, Mike about to do an exhibition. We can't wait till Mike Tyson come in for an exhibition match. So instead of Shannon Briggs showing up, Deontay Wilder shows up. Listen, I'm serious. Listen, man, boxing needs some scripts to jump back on board. And I know a lot of motherfuckers, nah, nigga, we ain't doing that shit, nigga. That's fucked up, that whack ass. Listen to what I'm saying. If Mike Tyson was in the ring for an exhibition bout, and he's supposed to face Shannon Briggs, let's say hypothetically, right? Instead of Shannon Briggs, it can be many. It can be Shannon Briggs can be in the ring already. You know what I'm saying? And they can be they can be up there waiting for the ref's instruction to start the fight. So once they go back to the ring, Shannon Briggs can just about get out the ring, and people be like, "Damn, why Shannon Briggs getting out the ring? He's scared of Mike." Blah blah blah. And then you get Deontay Wilder to split the ropes, and him and Mike Tyson face off. Come on. Do we have some pictures of them two in the ring together? I know they've had words online, but it would be damn good to see a semi-in-shape Mike Tyson stare down Deontay Wilder and Deontay Wilder stare down Mike Tyson. Man, that shit would be fire. That shit would be fire. I don't give a damn who don't like it or not. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I just think it'll be something to a point where to see Deontay Wilder in the ring with Mike Tyson, being that, Deontay has said what he said, Mike has said what he said, it would be good for TV, y'all. That should be good for TV. To see them two with the trainers in there, of course, then make it seem like, they about to go at it. But then, Deontay Wilder leave, and then they can get on with their exhibition bout. Shannon Briggs, he can talk up a good exhibition, he can talk that shit too. But I'm just saying the element of surprise to bring in another fighter, such as Deontay Wilder, if it don't interfere with his training, man, look, media will go berserk. It would be chaotic. Because when have we seen them two with gloves on face to face? We can only sit up here and reminisce if those two ever would have fought. And I'm saying, not in a sense right now, I'm just saying it's part to reflect on what Deontay Wilder said and Tyson's response. Still, with Deontay Wilder, the former WBC champion, I'm pretty sure it'll still have people gravitating. It'll tear up social media. Pictures will be everywhere. Wilder facing off with Mike Tyson. Wow. what the, how could, how would this fight played out if it would have went down? Now, listen, that's all I wanted to go. I don't want to go any further than that. Seriously. I just don't. Bad things will happen. If they can go up there and play the script and Deontay Wilder step in there while Mike Tyson is in his infamous boxing shoes, black trunks, man, come on. And Deontay Wilder split the ropes. Come on, man. Mike Tyson still has that fear factor, y'all. TJ Joyner said at Dondada, salute fam. You don't think it's the cannabis weed? I don't know what you mean by that, but I don't know if Mike's still smoking or not, but he looked in pretty decent shape from the video. Now we can take a video for all it's worth. It's just mitts, but he looked in damn good shape. I have to give him his credit for being in shape. Let's go, champ. Shannon Briggs. I saw Francis on Hot Box UFC heavyweight. Yeah, I did see that, and I don't know what for. I don't know why Francis was on there. I mean, look, Mike Tyson had his podcast. I respect him for his podcast. A lot of celebrities have basically decided to take the mic during the pandemic and create their podcast and have pretty decent success with it. And Mike Tyson, in any other setting, I don't think it would have worked out. But since he's this calmer dude, hot boxing, smoking, down to earth, chill type of dude, and getting real personal, letting people know the inner Mike Tyson. I get it, man. It's cool. Salute to him. Because I ain't gonna lie, I've watched several of his hot box podcasts. I watched. But to be honest with you, it would be good to see him and Deontay Wilder just have a little bit entertainment value. You know what I'm saying? Just for the fans to get boxing back going. You know what I'm saying? Just to have the people pop a smile, shake their head, squint their eyes, be like, damn, could you imagine? That's all it's gonna be. Could you imagine? What if? That's all we saw during the pandemic. What if? Could you imagine? Man, look at them staring down. Mike Tyson still got it. Mike Tyson still do it. Deontay Wilder can still do it. You will have people going back and forth talking shit for months if those two squared off in the ring. It'll be good publicity, y'all. But listen, I don't know what Mike Tyson may do. You're talking about the same people who the same person who was receiving an award and he act like he was about to damn punch Floyd Mayweather and give it up for Floyd Mayweather. He didn't flinch. Floyd like, stop, man, stop. You know you're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, at a certain point in life, Mike Tyson probably would have did that shit. But I just wanted to start off with Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, you know what I'm saying, coming back to the sport. But then, you look at Evander Holyfield, right? And you say, damn, if that same scenario played out for Evander Holyfield, who could you bring in the ring to kind of hype the crowd up? You know what I'm saying? Of facing one another that'll get them hyped up. The only person I could think about was James Toney. James Toney. And I know he's not in the best of shape right now. I don't think he'll even do it. But James Toney came in there and faced off against Holyfield. That'd be nice. That'd be nice, man. That'd be good shit. Because Holyfield wasn't like a Mike Tyson. He held his ground. He was well respected in his career. Tough dude. One of the lighter fighters who moved up to heavyweight, but always in shape. And only person I can think coming across and hyping the crowd up would be James Toney. He could do it. Lights out, he could do it. Real talk. Mike Tyson, Deontay Wilder, Evander Holyfield, and James Lights Out Toney. Absolutely. I mean, I think it'll be good for boxing. If these old heads, these old OGs, right, want to come back to the square for an exhibition bout, have it. But put a little bit more oomph into it. You know what I'm saying? Give us a little bit more. Have somebody that connects well for entertainment value step through the ropes and allow us to vision that. Give us our vision. That's all we want. We just want the vision. Snap some shots. Get the seriousness from both fighters staring each other down. And you know it's going to be some trash talking. Hey, Mike didn't do too much trash talking during the stare down now. Let's get it. Let's get it straight. You know, what too much damn trash talking. But I think those two individuals would do damn great if they was to square off. And then I was thinking, instead of Shannon Briggs, right? Because Shannon Briggs had the entertainment. He has the notoriety from the fan base, right? But I was thinking more so James the Beast Wilson, whose entire style pretty much emulates Mike Tyson. I was saying that would be a pretty good matchup to have a guy in there that is attempting to emulate a style like Mike Tyson. And he's a professional fighter. And I know a lot of you probably thinking that's cliche. A lot of people emulate Mike Tyson, but I'm saying for entertainment value, exhibition bout, it would be good to see James the Beast Wilson stepping through the ropes and face off. Two guys, similar height. You know what I'm saying? Wilson kind of moves and practices. He was also on Hot Box with Mike Tyson. I mean, come on, man. That'd be great for TV, great for entertainment, all that shit. But that was just my take on the two coming back. I'm glad to hear Evander Holyfield say he's not planning on facing any of the current active heavyweights. Salute, bro. I'm glad. That's good words. And you know what? I don't want to see Mike Tyson even think about doing the same thing. Exhibition bout, entertainment, cool. We on the same sheet. Edits say, out of Lopez, Haney, Garcia, who do you think can beat Loma? Now, my next topic is definitely going to be the lightweight division, right? I'm going to talk about Errol Spence last, but I want to talk about the lightweight division. I have to show some love to the lightweight division because I already said they're the hottest division in boxing right now, right? The lightweight division. And the reason being they're the hottest division because of the talent. They have some talent in the lightweight division, y'all. Let me just start off with those fighters who are on my thumbnail. Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia. Now, I know Ryan Garcia, I put him at the bottom of my thumbnail because he's still climbing the ladder. He's trying to earn that respect. He hasn't quite had the competition, you know what I'm saying, to complement his body of work. So we're still waiting on Ryan Garcia. Then you got Gervonta Davis, who came in there, dispersive New Yorkers Gamboa in 12 rounds. He's there, the WBA regular champion. Also, you got Vasily Lomachenko. He's the unified champion, y'all. You have all these collective big names in the hunt right now. So this is why I put the clip up. During the pandemic, these fighters have been talking reckless, y'all. These fighters have been up here talking trash to one another, man. Verbal sparring when there's no fights scheduled for either one of those cats. It's been more back and forth verbal sparring going back than when boxing was actually active and on a schedule right now. And Teofimo said it best. He said, man, I'm bored right now. I'll take any of those fights. I'll take any of those. You know what I'm saying? And you hear a lot of freaking trash talking from both of those and all those individuals. Ryan Garcia calling out people, Devin Haney calling out people, Teofimo calling out. But Teofimo has taken it to a different level. Teofimo has been on record as calling Vasily Lomachenko a bitch. You know, I was at that press conference. He called him a bitch twice. You know what I'm saying? And you know how that sits with a grown-ass man. You know, you call him a bitch. That's disrespectful. That's just disrespectful. But recently, he called Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. They bitches. That's what, on quote, quote, Teofimo Lopez said they bitches. That's exactly what he said. And he had the picture, somehow a goddamn photocopy picture of the faces of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. And I'm like, damn, this has just got personal. This cat is taking out pictures and goddamn talking on a live, calling them bitches. And I'm saying to myself, like, I hope this is somehow, some way, a little, type of energy to connect the fight being made. Because if all these competitors in the lightweight division don't link up, once the matches start really gaining steam and boxing get back into the groove a little bit, if we don't see a Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney or Vasily Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez versus anybody, Devin Haney versus Teofimo, Ryan Garcia, I truly don't think Haney is going to get Vasily Lomachenko before Teofimo Lopez. I just don't see it happening. But then you look at a person put a picture out there, Devin Haney with the WBC belt, and it was a damn caveat to Teofimo Lopez calling him a two-time email champion. You know what I'm saying? So his belt had an open envelope on it. Whoever did that Photoshop was on point, because you look at the WBC belt, it looks like at first glance the WBC belt, but you look closer in the middle, it has a red, like it's a red receipt for email, and they put an envelope right in the center part of the belt. I'm telling you, man, the internet is savage. The internet is savage. You know what I'm saying? You have apps, you have Photoshop. You can't run away from it, man. It's everywhere. Uh-oh. I see some live chats in here that's gonna stir up some hornets. They're gonna bring in the murder wasps, the murder hornets, or whatever they call. So back to edits out of Lopez. All right. Haney and Garcia, who do you think can beat Loma? And I'll tell you point blank, I believe Teofimo Lopez, number one out of the trio, can beat Lomachenko. Seriously. I believe Vasily Lomachenko can get stopped actually by Teofimo Lopez. I believe that. I know it's just my OP. You may disagree or you may not. You may agree or you may not. But I'm just saying, I believe Teofimo is the one out of the three that can stop Vasily Lomachenko. Now, that's not to take anything away from Devin Haney. Seriously. Devin Haney is a star that's going to continue to grow. And I'm really looking forward to Devin Haney, man, stepping up in the near future to his competition. That's real talk. Stepping up in competition doesn't mean facing Ryan Garcia. And let's be honest. Devin Haney facing Ryan Garcia right now is not going to really put him a whole different status of superstardom by going in there defeating Ryan Garcia. It's just not what I want to see right now. I want Ryan Garcia to continue to develop. Right now, he's a stand-up fighter, chin like this, just straight. And all those videos he make, no bending of the knees. You know, he's punching from the chest. You know, when you get into a boxing match, you're gonna have to you run into somebody who puts you up against the ropes or fighting on the inside. All that video accurate that you got, that's gonna change. You're gonna have to show us that you know how to fight on the inside. You know what I'm saying? But when you're making a video with mitts, it's good for TV. But it changes if you have an opponent that's able to close distance and get on the inside and work that body and do some dirty boxing. I mean, the whole fight plan changes. Speaking of Ryan Garcia said he don't plan on fighting past 26. All right? He has 5 more years. 5 more years to do what he want to do. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This is my belief on Ryan Garcia. I believe Ryan Garcia will eventually transfer over to Hollywood. You remember that I told you. I believe Ryan Garcia at one point in time in his life will be able to transfer over to Hollywood. Seriously, I'm being all honest. I think Ryan Garcia potentially on the back end of his boxing career will be in Hollywood. Don't forget that I told you that. Ryan Garcia may indeed be, a part of the changing of the guard when it comes to Hollywood and be a pretty good Hollywood star, man. You never know. I'm telling you. Man. Dundada said Haney and Stevenson, maybe Tank. Well, Stevenson is not up there yet, Don. I know where you're getting at. A future match. Stevenson said once the pandemic is over, he planned on moving up to 130. All right. Now, I see you also made a comment in there. Stop ducking Mr. Gary Russell Jr. Now, check this out. What weight class is Gary Russell Jr. in? So you take the weight class Gary Russell Jr. in. Gary Russell say, when I move up, I'm not moving to 130. I don't want anybody in 130. I want to go straight up to 135. I want the big names at 135. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because if Gary Russell Jr. comes up to 135 real soon, once boxing resumes, oh man, look, you just added you didn't add no coals to it. You just put some gasoline on the 135-pound division. Real talk. If Russell Jr. come over there, apex predator, and shake up the 135-pound division, that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. He didn't say nothing about facing the bottom half of the top 15. He's calling out Gervonta. He was calling out Devin Haney. He was calling out just about anybody. I would like to see Russell Jr. in there with Vasily Lomachenko in a rematch. I absolutely would like to see, before Russell's career is over, before Lomachenko's career over, I would like to see them two face off again in a rematch, man. Seriously, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Two highly technically skilled fighters. I would like to see Gary Russell running back with Vasily Lomachenko. If you look on his record, isn't that the only loss that he has? It's been a while since Gary Russell lost. Michael, what's good? Michael Johnson, Boxing Talking More. What's good? What's good? Thanks for dropping in, man. But that's what I want to see, man. One factor that is absolutely important to note is that a lot of these fighters are calling out Gervonta, and a lot of these fighters are taking Gervonta for granted because they see him blow up a little bit in between fights. They see his extracurricular activities outside the ring, but either one or two things going to happen. It's going to finally affect him in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Or not. Because it seems like a lot of his damn divisional compeers are looking at what he does outside the square, and they're basically judging him and saying he's not going to be real effective when he step up competition at 135. And I'm saying to myself, Gervonta Davis is a 3-time world champion already. Two divisions. You cannot ever take Gervonta lightly. When Gervonta is in there, Gervonta is an absolute hunter. He's a savage. Ain't nothing about Gervonta when it comes to boxing that I'm hearing people be like, well, he looked this way against Gamboa. How many times have you seen Gervonta Davis go 12 rounds? You know what I'm saying? Listen, I seen Gamboa take some heavy shots. Just because Gamboa took the shots doesn't mean everyone else in that division will take the same shots, y'all. It's up to Gervonta Davis to get better. Not everybody around him saying, you know what, he gonna fuck up, and then start comparing him to what happened to Errol Spence and all that, Adrian Broner. You can't do that, man. Like, seriously, boxing, man, it's a freaking tough ass sport to be a part of. And then when you at the top, it's very difficult to keep anyone pleased, especially when you have problems outside the ring, and then people doubt you coming back in the ring and being able to duplicate your last performance. And that's what the fight fans are waiting on. They want to see Gervonta Davis step in there with somebody at the top of the food chain next and see how he does. But check out the list, though. Vasily Lomachenko, no special order. Because like I said, I believe Teofimo Lopez can defeat Vasily Lomachenko. So you got Vasily Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, Gary Russell Jr. whenever he moves up, right? You still got Richard Comey over there. And then, you have other individuals that really haven't peaked out yet, but they're there. They're there. Only thing has to happen is the ink. The good thing in such a dark situation with the pandemic is it allows potential matchups to now happen that wouldn't have happened if boxing was still active and pushing through its annual schedule. Now we get to see potentially some of the U.S. fighters face one another that probably wouldn't have did it if the pandemic wouldn't have crumbled the sport. Seriously. Until they lift these travel restrictions from the neighboring fighters to come back in here and start training, we may potentially see some of the top names over here in the U.S. link up and start fighting one another. That's the good shit about it. We might be able to see Devin Haney, face Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia. But I'm not sure if calling your opposition bitches is going to get you any closer to that fight. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. It's disrespectful, but in boxing, where's the disrespect? It's a lot of disrespect in boxing, and it's a lot of cats that respect one another. But believe this: if Teofimo Lopez faced Devin Haney to unify the WBC belt and the IBF, yes, we want to see that shit. Even in a blackout, we absolutely want to see that shit. Real talk. I want to see Teofimo Lopez face Devin Haney with no fans. It doesn't matter. Let's see it. Both of them have both of them name has traction in the boxing community. And of course, we trying to see what Devin Haney will look like in there with the fighter like Teofimo Lopez and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? We want to see that fight. So if indeed it's potentially can be made, let's see it. Real talk. But right now, I believe Teofimo Lopez is the man. I believe he goes in there and defeats Lomachenko if and when they ever get back into the groove contractually and travel restrictions lift and those two are able to fight each other. Now, the good thing about it is, once again, if Teofimo is able to fight Devin Haney, it's still a win-win because we're talking about two titles, the WBC and the IBF. It's a win-win situation. And then you take those two individuals, still if Lomachenko isn't here yet, then he can face somebody else. Gary Russell Jr., Gervonta Davis, whoever's on deck, they can make that shit happen. And that's all we want to see. Competitive matchups. And forget all the pandemic bullshit, verbal sparring. That shit don't damn sell. You know what I'm saying? That ain't gonna get you no closer. It's the people that's basically running the show, the promoters, the matchmakers, the managers, and all that shit. They have to get together and say, you know what? Without a gate, and put this on PPV. How do you believe it would do if we put a matchup like Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney on PPV? How do you believe it'll do? Because they're gonna have to have a solid co-main event and then a fight under the co-main event. It's gonna have to be somewhat like what the UFC did at UFC 249. They're gonna have to make it heavy. Seriously, they're gonna have to make that fight card heavy, y'all. Gary and Loma, I would like to see it. I definitely like to see that. That's a rematch I would like to see, y'all. That's deserving. Us, the boxing fans, deserve to see that rematch. It's a lot behind the scenes. Garrett Russell said he was freaking dehydrated. Had to do with weight. Him cutting weight and everything else, and he just wasn't 100%. So now Him moving up to 135, he would be in much better condition as far as cutting weight. Him moving up 2 weight classes, absolutely. Yes, we want to see that shit. Mike say talk and let me see. Dundallah, what it do? I think Ali and Shields will fight before the guys mix it up. I really didn't want to sway off the rails. And I didn't see your comment up there. Roy and Usyk. No. Nah, I definitely don't want to see that right there. I can't even entertain that right now. But Ali and Shields, man, I'll get to them at the end of the broadcast. But the lightweight division, man, is the hottest division in the game right now in the sport of boxing. And even in the pandemic, when these guys talking shit to one another, it's good. It's what boxing need. I ain't gonna lie. It's good for the sport. But what we need is all the individuals that plan on linking up and giving us a show. We need to have a closer understanding of a possibility that it may happen. Like we need something else. We need some more substance. We need some validity. You know, we need to see if the fights are actually closer than just social media back and forth, Twitter ranting, you know, IG videos and all this other shit. How can we latch on to it and say, you know what, this fight, it's going to happen? Because we don't know that shit right now. We was waiting on Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko. They should have been coming up right now. But COVID-19 took that away, right? So now we really don't know who's in the shoot to fight. We really don't know what the link-ups is going to be. These guys are just calling out one another, man, and say, you know what? I want to sit up here and fight anybody top name right now. Anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who it is. Let me fight them. Sign me up. And the only fight right now, to be honest, because I really don't know what Gervonta is at right now and what he's into. He's been quiet lately. You know what I'm saying? So I really can't put him in the fray. But of course, his name is always relevant. Gervonta Davis' name is always relevant. But I have to like report with integrity enough to say, I don't believe Gervonta is even considering fighting any of those three. I know for a fact that when the flyer came out, he's trying to fight Leo Santa Cruz. You know, the flyer came out and all this banter online that Gervonta Davis was thinking about dropping down to junior lightweight to face Leo Santa Cruz. Hey, if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. But right now in the lightweight division, add Gary Russell to the equation. Then Don mentioned Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is basically saying he wants Josh Warrington, right? We'll see if that fight even come close to happening. We don't know. But we all know Shakur Stevenson is a problem. Shakur Stevenson is an absolute problem. He's saying once the pandemic subsides, he's planning on moving up a weight class. Now, once again, it's a lot of fighters saying a lot of things during lockdown. But if by chance Shakur Stevenson planning on moving up, I know he can pick up a title at 130. Seriously. It'll be smart for Shakur Stevenson to say, let me stop at 130 and pick up a title. I believe Shakur Stevenson can pick up a title at 130. Once he get that badge at 130, then move up to 135, there still should be enough names there for Shakur Stevenson to get a big fight. One of the biggest fights of his career. Seriously. I don't know if Teofimo Lopez is going to be there when Shakur Stevenson finally steps on the doorstep, finally arrives at the doorstep of the lightweight division. But I know Ryan Garcia will probably be there. I know Devin Haney will be there. Vasily Lomachenko, I don't think is going to be there. And you know what? I don't know how long Vasily is going to stay at that division. You look, when I say stay at that division, I'm not talking about moving up to 140. I'm talking about 135, 130. You know, he's all about stepping up, stepping down, stepping up, stepping down. You know, wherever the money is for Vasily Lomachenko right now, that's what it seems like he's, you know, motivated to take. He's an older fighter. He's gonna take the big money fights, man. He's a 3-division champion, currently unified at freaking lightweight. So we'll see what happens. But by the time Shakur Stevenson get up there, man, believe me, potentially Gervonta may still be there. And I'm gonna be honest with my opinion. You know, I just believe that Gervonta Davis, being that he picked up a title in his 2nd division, he may indeed campaign at that division just a little bit more, and then move up to 140. I said this before, and people was like, "No, Gervonta can't move up to 140 because he too short. He this, that, and the other." Listen, he's short enough to go to 140. Seriously, I believe Gervonta Davis will absolutely peak out at junior welterweight in his career, and he will be a 3-division champion when it's all said and done. Now, you're not going to hear me say that Gervonta Davis someday be a welterweight. I don't see him at welterweight, period, in his career. But I do see him 135 moving up to 140 in the future. And I foresee him having a title in those divisions. 3-division champion. I see that. I see Teofimo Lopez keeping his word, trying to unify the division at lightweight, and then, of course, moving up to 140. Him and his dad has been talking about it for quite some time, and they absolutely have plans to move up to junior welterweight. And Teofimo Lopez will be a champion at junior welterweight. Seriously. But I do believe that Teofimo Lopez, within his career, may potentially move up to 147. And by the time he puts that in the equation, I believe some of the fighters that's there now will absolutely be out of the sport of boxing. Seriously, they'll be out of the sport of boxing. It'll be a changing of the guard. We're not going to see Errol Spence in the welterweight division for the next 4 or 5 years, y'all. I don't see it happening. I don't see Keith Thurman in the division the next 4 or 5 years. Terrence Crawford. I don't see it. And we definitely, I hope and pray to God, Manny Pacquiao, at 50 years old, we don't see him in the welterweight division still camping out. No, it should be a changing of the freaking guard, and we should see a whole lot of new faces in the next 4 to 5 years in the welterweight division. So some of these cats you see at junior lightweight, junior welterweight, some of them would definitely homestead at 147 in the near future. Seriously. I just don't see Gervonta Davis as one of those guys. I don't see Gary Russell Jr. as one of those guys. But I can see Teofimo Lopez moving all the way up to 147. Absolutely. I do. I see Devin Haney potentially moving up to 140 and 147 in the future. Shakur Stevenson, I'm telling you. 126 all the way up to 147, Shakur Stevenson. Possibility. Absolutely. And you know what? I believe at the end of his career, Shakur Stevenson may be that dude, man. He may be that gladiator that attempts to fight at 154 on the backside of his career, man. Dude is hungry. Shakur Stevenson is hungry, y'all. That dude is hungry. So we'll see. We see Rigondeaux, move up in weight. Now move down in weight. He just picked up a title at bantamweight, y'all. Rigondeaux just picked up a title at 118. So he's going to be in the hunt for a title shot. You have Joshua Greer Jr. We're looking forward to see who he's going to fight coming out the pandemic. He's supposed to have face Jason Maloney before the pandemic. Now we may be able to see him face the WBO champion, John Casimiro. And Joshua Greer Jr. has been waiting for this title shot. So we might see him in Nui. It's going to be a while before he returns from Japan to face anybody. And then, of course, Nordine Obali is supposed to face Nonito Donaire. It may be a minute before we see them two link up together. It all has to do with travel, man. Can Josh Warren get to Newark, New Jersey? You know what? To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you what Josh Warrington can do, because really, some of those fighters can get on private jets and make it to the States. Seriously, some of those fighters, man, if the money is good and they have a place to train down here and they get tested, some of these fighters can make it to the U.S. Absolutely, they can. You know what I'm saying? I mean, anything is possible when you want to talk about money. If they make a card that's heavy enough for these fighters to say, you know what, you have everything arranged, I can, we can make this PJ happen, get on a private jet, make it back over to this particular camp, get in fight camp, and then get ready to go back in there. The fight camp has to be equitable for the fighter. It has to be, everything has to link up right. It has to be beneficial for the fighter to come over here knowing where he's going to lay his head, fight camp, and his team and everybody else in order to get prepared for a big fight. All that has to be in line. Older fighters still can get shine because of the smoke and mirrors of the new age fighters not fighting. Yeah, that's a solid statement, man. That's a solid statement, because that's exactly what we're kind of talking about right now with Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson. And listen, who say you can't make a video like Mike Tyson? Seriously. Look, during the pandemic, I actually made a video. I put the shark music in there and everything, and me hitting mitts and shit, and sped it up a little bit and made it look like it was something special. I'm looking at this shit like, damn, that shit wasn't that hard. If you basically, clip the scenes right, different angles, you can make it look very intense. And then at the end, say I'm back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I may say I'm back and y'all be like, man, get out of here. You ain't back. You in your goddamn home chilling, man. Damn, doing media shit. But Mike Tyson hit the mitts and all the sound effects and the music with the sweat. And then at the end, say I'm back. It looked a whole lot different than Evander Holyfield at 57 saying, I'm back. You know what I'm saying? We believe Tyson, but Evander Holyfield, not so much. Like, nah, I'm feeling some type of way, real deal. You shouldn't come back to the sport, real deal. Come on, man. Chill. Chill, my brother. Mike Tyson, chill. I don't want to see neither one of y'all coming back. But you know what? Like I told you before, I would definitely like to see Mike Tyson be able to radiate as much media publicity as possible, if indeed he's able to get some type of entertainment value out of his exhibition bout. And only one person can give him that. One freaking person. That's Deontay Wilder splitting the ropes, slowly walking out. The ref get in between. Both him and Tyson's in the center of the ring, man. Come on, bro. Man, y'all know I'm right. It's one person that can bring the energy to Mike Tyson in an exhibition bout. I'm not saying Deontay fighting Mike Tyson. I'm talking about giving the crowd, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of foreplay. Have them with their eyes wide open, aroused, frantic. Shit, let me take my phone out. God damn, that shit will happen. If Deontay Wilder showed up to a Mike Tyson exhibition bout and split the ropes with Shannon Briggs either in there before and leave the ring, or if he hasn't made it to the ring yet, and Deontay Wilder walks to the ring, get the crowd all hyped up, and he split the ropes, and Mike Tyson's already in the ring standing up. Shit. What you say, Shawty? That should be fired. Don said, tank a middleweight today. Man, listen. Yeah, Tank has that body type to balloon in weight, but what I know of Tank, I've seen him fight several times already in person. Look, I'm not here to be anybody's counselor, therapist, physician, psychologist, whatever you want to say. But Tank a motherfucking savage, period. And it's up to the fighter and those people around them to keep them focused as much as they possibly can outside the ring. We have a history of guys that had fucked up lives outside of the ring. I'm saying we have a history. The history goes way back to domestic abuse, freaking stealing, assault, anything you can name criminally. We've had boxers go through it, murder, all that shit. So this is nothing different. It's going to continue to happen. Being killed in car accidents, we've had that. Seriously. T.O. versus Bud Crawford. Okay. So T.O. versus Bud Crawford is really a matchup I can't entertain right now because Bud Crawford is at 147, and it's like really no which way that I'll see this even contending at a catch weight. You know what I'm saying? Which falls in line with catch weight media. The only way that I can see this going down is Terrence Crawford agree to fight at 144 or something like that. Because Terrence Crawford would be like, I don't have to come to you. He's just that type of dude. Terrence Crawford ain't gonna come see Teofimo. Man, what benefit is gonna do for him? I would rather Terrence Crawford step up and fight Jermell Charlo than I would Teofimo Lopez. Real talk. And to answer your question, Bud Crawford, his range, the way he's able to switch stances and still fire off consistently, authoritative when he in there, his experience, all of that shit. 3-division champion, his experience and everything else to go along with it. His ring IQ, it would be tough for me to say Teofimo goes in there and defeat Bud Crawford. No. WCS, did you say Stevenson could go 6-weight class, 6-weight champion? I believe Shakur Stevenson, that's currently at 126, could potentially end his career at 154. You didn't hear me say a champion at 154. I say he's going to be a multi-division champion when it's all said and done. Look, I don't have to promise you anything. Look, it's going to happen. Shakur Stevenson is going to be a multi-division champion. Period. Mark my words. I'm saying Shakur Stevenson may potentially end his career at 154. That's real talk. The way his mindset is, he's destined to be great, man. Shakur Stevenson, I'm not saying a lot of fighters aren't having the same mindset. I'm not saying that. But Shakur Stevenson, he smells what he wants, man. He has the recipe in order. All he want to do right now is cook it. He want to cook. So he has his mindset on the direction that he wants to go. And I'm just saying, with that mindset and interviewing him, the energy that you get, Shakur Stevenson, his body composition, he still may potentially, grow into his man strength and everything. Yeah, he may end up at 154 on the backside of his career, man. A lot of people are gonna listen to it and they're gonna feel some type of way. I don't care. I'm just telling you what my projection is. I believe Shakur Stevens will definitely be 130, 135, 140, all the way up to 147. That right there, I feel is gonna happen. Absolutely. But what I do believe potentially on the backside of his career. He may indeed end his career at 154, man. Don't say I didn't tell you. Don't say I didn't tell you, man. I'm back, Bomb Squad. Fat Daddy in the building. Salute, man. What's good? Exhibitions to build this brand and to raise money only. Yeah, it is an exhibition. That's why I was saying this, right? It would be good for them to audition another big name, especially one that's been in the media, that him and Mike Tyson have a little bit of contentiousness between one another. You know what I'm saying? Just to put that shit out there. It builds up fights. So why not allow it to build up charity? You know what I'm saying? To build up charity. Now, granted, I don't think that it's going to be feasible for Deontay to be in the building just to raise charity for Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm just saying, hypothetically, I'm just generalizing it. I'm just placing it out there to say it would be good if those two could face off in the ring unexpectedly. They would know it's going to happen, but for the fans to see that shit, to see Deontay Wilder in there with Mike Tyson, knowing who Mike Tyson has fought in the past, knowing where Deontay Wilder's career has been right now, it'll be a good sight, man, to behold. Seriously. It'll be good for the cameras. It'll be good for media. It'll be good for Mike Tyson's charity and everything else he's trying to raise money for. Yeah, it would. Tyson's a legend. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Truck salute. Tyson has crazy street credibility. Loved by all the hoods. The most all time. Second only to Ali. Yeah, man. Tyson has mad respect for somebody who's been through what he's been through. And that's why I'm a bit reserved with my criticism of the new cats that's on deck, going through what I already seen covering the sport for so long. Like, I've seen dudes get in trouble in boxing and combat sports in general. You getting punched in the head, you're going to be a different type of individual. You know what I'm saying? You might be a tyrant outside the ropes. You know what I'm saying? You might be a mischievous individual. You might be a bad individual, man. Your whole life outside the ring may absolutely be inconsistent with what fans believe you to be inside the ropes, right? So I look at what Mike Tyson's been through in his career, what he's done in and out of the ring. And when you see people like Adrian Brown and Javante and everybody else is getting in trouble, freaking Sergey Kovalov, yes, yes, Billy Joe Saunders, absolutely. A lot of people always enjoy just talking about the black fighters. You know what I'm saying? But no, there's several fighters out there that's been nutting up. You know what I'm saying? And that's been going on in boxing for quite some time. Mike Tyson, of all people, served prison time and everything else to go along with what he was able to do. But when it comes to the hood, when it comes to that hood love, when it comes to him telling you, man, I can walk through the hood by myself. Let me tell you a story. It's going to be short, all right? Because I know how people are this day. These motherfuckers be like, God damn, I don't want to hear no motherfucking story, nigga. I don't want to hear no motherfucking story at 9 o'clock on a Monday. Check this out. When I was just in the Corps, man, I was in my first year in the Corps. I went in the Corps at 17. I was stationed in Washington, D.C., and I was at this park they call Haynes Point. At the time, Haynes Point, man, it's the same shit Will Smith video. I mean, that shit was on point. When the sun was out, it was Friday, it was damn Saturday. You wash up the ride, you go down to Haynes Point. It was women galore. So one time we out there eating some, and make so bad the seafood wharf was next by. So you can go buy some seafood, bring it down there. Of course, you have people cooking, or you can get it already cooked and stuff like that. And then you've been down there drinking and doing whatever, right? So we down there chilling at Haynes Point next to Potomac River. And everybody start rushing. So If anybody know Haynes Point, that usually means a fight happening or something. Well, this particular day, the crowd rushed over there on the other side from where we were. So I started running over. I said, man, this don't seem like a fight. Let me go over. It was Mike Tyson. It was Mike Tyson. Look, you couldn't get close, but being at my height, I was able to see that it was fucking Mike Tyson. He was with one other dude. This was in the 90s. One other dude, y'all. No, this is just before 1990, I believe. He went up there with one other dude in the car. He was in a BMW. And he had on a tank top. And man, the whole motherfucking park converged on Tyson. So when you say that hood shit, to do that in Washington, D.C., in the park where you had hundreds of us out there drinking, eating seafood, whatever you can imagine. Mike Tyson didn't have no security with him. He was with one other dude, man. I'm telling you, the whole motherfucking park swarmed and converged on the champ. Yeah, it was crazy, man. That's my only goddamn tales of the dark side about Mike Tyson in person. Outside of the ring, man. Mel and Bud would be a classic. Yeah, I would pretty much enjoy Terrence Crawford to step up and fight Jermell Charlo rather than that other matchup that makes no sense to me because Teofimo's too small. You know, Bud, the way his mindset is, just my opinion, he'll be like, you know, how's this shit benefit me? This ain't no legacy for me. You know, what the money looking like? I can't even get Errol Spence fight. Why I'm gonna fight Teofimo Lopez, the smaller fighter at 135? His dad wouldn't even allow that fight to happen. Teofimo's dad wouldn't even allow him to fight Bud Crawford. Nah. I know it's good for conversation, good banter, but it wouldn't happen. Holmes and Foreman. I know it's Monday, they're done, but come on now. What's going on, dog? Larry Holmes and Foreman. Bruh. Listen, I enjoy seeing George Foreman return that night against Michael Moore. Actually, anybody that was going for anybody else other than George Foreman on that night, I don't know what to say to you, but a lot of people was rooting for Big George to come in there and win the fight. And look, he was taking punishment. Michael Moore was digging. He was working. And I was like, God damn, Foreman tough as shit. Tough as shit. And he started getting to Michael Moore. And look, Michael Moore started freaking fatiguing and getting tired. And then them sledgehammer, look, them sledgehammer kept coming out. Boom, boom. And you saw the effect it was having it on Mike. Finally, he got the knockdown. I said, you know what? I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. George Foreman is about to be the oldest heavyweight at that point to pick up a title, man. Unfucking believable. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was unbelievable to see Big George return and face a young gun like Michael Moore compared to George Foreman at 45 years old, and for him to go in there and stop Michael Moore. You know what I'm saying? So I won't want to see no Larry Holmes in there with George Foreman. Hell no. I won't want to see that shit. I won't want to see that shit, man. Mel got his hands full with banana. Listen, since you mentioned that, I'm glad you mentioned that shit, right? It's amazing what isolation does to the mind. You know what I'm saying? Isolation will put you in so many moods, right? Especially these fighters. They say, man, I got to keep my name relevant. I got to keep my name relevant. I got to keep my name. Then all of a sudden, Rosario defeats J-Rock in dominating fashion. And then he says, I'm not looking forward. I really, Jermell Charlo is not somebody that I have on my radar. I mean, look, it took me back to when Sean Porter was saying Errol Spence is going to be the easy fight to make. And it didn't happen, of course, right away. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard Rosario all of a sudden saying, you know what, he's willing to face Jermell Charlo, I'm saying, is this just a ploy to get more people to tune in so his name stay relevant now that boxing is on the horizon, to jumpstart, the fight cards and get, get the wheels turning, get the bad sounding off, you know what I'm saying? Get the gyms back open. If this just a ploy for attention, because when he beat J-Rock, Jermell Charlo's name wasn't in the conversation to say, you know what? I want Jermell Charlo to unify. I don't want nobody else. I want Jermell Charlo. That's just like with Jarrett Hurd. Jarrett Hurd loses the title to Julian Williams, and he doesn't enact his rematch clause. And then J-Rock loses to Jason Rosario, and I'm like, Rosario isn't calling out the unification. And then we heard that J-Rock may indeed come back and rematch Rosario. So now we haven't heard J-Rock's name anytime soon. But let me tell you, if the fight indeed comes together, if those two can merge and the ink dry, definitely we want to see Jermell Charlo step in there and face Rosario. Seriously. It'll be a damn good fight. If we get the same Rosario that fought Julian Williams, cool. It'll be a good fight. Now, you probably want to know who I think that'll win that fight, right? I believe Jermell Charlo will defeat Rosario. I do. Now, Rosario is going to have to show me something that he's a durable champion. We've been seeing unified champions rise in the 154 division for quite some time. Swift Hurd had it. And then he get obliterated by J-Rock, who fought damn near perfect on that night. And then he tells the people, don't count out a boxer just because he had one loss when Jermell Charlo knocked him out. He's convincing the fans, don't do it. That shit fucked up. Y'all should give us more respect. Show us more love. This is a hard-ass sport. And I'm sitting back here like, you're right. You're right, J-Rock. They shouldn't have casted you to the side, ostracized you, treated you like a pariah when you got knocked out by Jermell. I get it. Then he returns to defend his titles, and he gets stopped in brutal fashion. I mean, it's no leaning over to the left and Jermell catch you with that right uppercut. No. You got hit with an uppercut, and then you got hit with a collective group of other punches, which, in my opinion, was worse than Jermell Charlo fight. The way Jason Rosario finished J-Rock, it was worse than the damn Jermell Charlo fight. So, Jermell stepping in that Rosario, I believe Jermell Charlo can get it done, to be honest. One thing that I took off seeing him face Tony Harrison was his freaking tenaciousness. Did you see the eyes? Did you see Jermell Charlo's eyes the entire fight? Did you see how focused he was, the laser? He didn't look, he wasn't veering off to the left and the right, and he had to keep adjusting windage. He was right there center. He knew what he had to do with his opponent, and he stayed the course, and he ended up getting a stoppage in the 11th round. Now, I still think he's a headhunter. You know what I'm saying? I still think he's a headhunter. And sometimes when he get focused on his power, Jermell Charlo will be idle. Is Rosario the one to make him pay? I don't know. I don't know if Rosario is the one to make Jermell Charlo pay if he stay at home too long. That's just me. But is that fight going to happen? We'll see, man. All of a sudden, Jermell Charlo is like, yeah, I'll fight Rosario. And Rosario like, I'll fight Jermell. Where was all this several months ago? Like, where was all this energy at? Like, come on, man. Lines only, right? I didn't hear the roar, several months ago that you wanted to unify the division. We heard every name besides Rosario And for Rosario, we was hearing everything else besides Charlo. So the pandemic got y'all goddamn feeling some type of way, huh? The pandemic got some of these fighters tight. Seriously, they tight. They're like, you know what? We got to find a way to have the attention radiate back on us since boxing is about to jumpstart once again. I want to know, who do you all believe will win that fight between Rosario and Charlo? Who do you believe will win that fight? That's what I want to know. And then another question. What about Teixeira that's over there? I mean, would it be out of question to see, if it's beneficial for either one of those champions to try to unify with Teixeira that's sitting over there in the corner with his elbow up, chilling with the WBO title? Do you believe it is beneficial, or he doesn't have a big enough name? You know what I'm saying? I know the 154-pound division, it doesn't have a lot of depth to it. Seriously. But I know how I can get some spark. If by chance we're able to get a Terrence Crawford, and this is going to be my transition over to Errol Spence, right? So from what I'm hearing, Errol Spence may indeed come back and face Danny Garcia. Face Danny Garcia or Manny Pacquiao. Whichever one it is. Now, if by chance I had to, select a fighter for Errol Spence to fight on his way back, why not Manny Pacquiao and try to scoop up that WBA super title? That gives Errol Spence Treyway. You know what I'm saying? That gives him 3 titles heading into a unification bout with Terrence Crawford. Then again, I'm saying Terrence Crawford. I would like to see him face Manny Pacquiao for the WBA super title, so we can have both champions with 2 titles apiece going in there to fight for the undisputed welterweight championships. That's how I would like it. Now, if Errol Spence come back and fight Danny Garcia, I see it being entertaining than Mikey Garcia. And the reason why I say that stylistically, right? We know Danny Garcia, he can be pretty stationary at times. You know what I'm saying? And then, him and Errol Spence matches up fairly nice. But do I want to see Errol Spence face a fighter who Sean Porter defeated and Errol Spence defeated Sean Porter? Am I willing to sit up here and co-sign on that? That's not a fight I really want to see. I really don't want to see Errol Spence go in there and face Danny Garcia. Even though he still have a respectable name in the sport, I would rather Errol Spence fight somebody of significant relevance to a point to where he's trying to go. Now, the only thing I can, put in his favor with Errol Spence is he is still recovering from that car accident. To hear him talk finally on the interview with All the Smoke, even though he had a previous interview, but he really didn't let out all the information like he did in All the Smoke, right? For him to, let us in personally on him being ejected from the vehicle, losing teeth and everything else, being cleared to train, but not cleared to spar, actually waiting for the implants to basically heal in his mouth so he can get his, permanent teeth put in. And that's going to be for the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying? But whenever you get implants in your teeth, you have to have them done correctly. The screw has to set in the bone and everything else. That process has to work itself out through time, and then you're able to get your teeth in. And at that time, Errol Spence was like The only thing he hasn't been cleared for is sparring because he's still healing up for his teeth, for the implants. So therefore, that is the benefit I give him on his favor, is that for him to go in there and face somebody like Danny Garcia, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's a good choice for Errol Spence. I don't know. He said he didn't want no soft touch. His people say they was going to give him a soft touch. So what changed? You know what I'm saying? What changed? You still was in a car accident. So Danny Garcia is supposed to be a soft touch? I don't think so. I don't think Danny Garcia, no way, no how somebody should agree that Danny Garcia is a soft touch. Now, old Manny Pacquiao, I think Manny Pacquiao would be more beneficial for Errol Spence. Real talk. People still up here looking at an 8 division champion and seeing what he did to Keith Thurman. And I'm telling you all, Manny Pacquiao, make sure we talking about VADA. We're not going to see the same Manny. If we get him full tested, the way it's supposed to be in boxing, I know people don't like hearing that, but you are. He ain't going to look like the same person he did against Keith Thurman. Period. And I know Errol Spence, his mindset may potentially be like, I don't care if he's in testing or not, I'll still beat him. And I truly believe he believes what he's talking about when it comes to that. Because who's to say it wouldn't destroy his livelihood as a fighter if Errol Spence was to go in there and lose to Manny Pacquiao? It would destroy him. Seriously. We'll never get to see Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Never. We'll get to see Terrence Crawford and probably Manny Pacquiao now. Real talk. So let's see how that works, man. You know, Errol Spence, 26-0. Let's see what happens, upon his return. It's supposed to be near the end of the year. So let's see who his opponent is going to be. Danny Garcia, Manny Pacquiao, whoever. We just want to see it. And then for Terrence Crawford, man, are we like, I'm bemused, man. Like, what's next for Terrence Crawford? Like, who's going to be next? Is it going to be Sean Porter? Best buddies, are they going to fight? Sean Porter need a good name on the other side so he can do what he have to do. That's all I got to say. I hear people and see on social media that people are just riding Terrence Crawford out. Like, man, I don't even want to talk about Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. People don't want to talk about Terrence Crawford unless it has to do with Errol Spence. You have people on here every freaking day talking about Errol Spence. Since Deontay Wilder has had his fight with Fury, now it's back to Errol Spence. There's more fighters out there than Errol Spence. Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford isn't happening anytime soon. So guess what? We need to move on to a different topic of discussion and talk about the possibilities of who will potentially face Errol Spence, since it's not going to be Terrence Crawford. Who in the welterweight lineup will be there to face Errol Spence once he returns from his car accident, being on the hiatus since his car accident? That's what we want to know. Period. I'm gonna leave that right there. Period. That's what we want to know. Next, the question was thrown out there, and I know this is real talk. Who will win between Caleb Plant and Joseph Benavidez, right? Caleb Plant is a super middleweight IBF champion. David Benavidez is WBC. David Benavidez regained his title when he stepped back in there against Anthony Dirrell, and he did it. I wouldn't say in dominating fashion, but he got the job done. He cut him, and the fight ended up being stopped. But give it up to Anthony Dirrell, man. Much tougher fight than I imagined with David Benavidez. Real talk. But for Plant and Benavidez, the first time I had the opportunity to interview him in Vegas at the MGM, right? He straight out told me he didn't like David. He didn't like his people, any of that. And if you follow boxing, you know, back in 2018, those two teams got into it a little bit and in a gym. You know what I'm saying? So they had like a little dust up or whatever. I'm not going to get too much in detail about it. But then again, David Benavidez made mention that Caleb Plant mentions the death of his daughter for famous, for famous attention. So people can tune in to him and draw. And I think that's the most, that's the worst thing you can do for a man losing a child. You know what I'm saying? It's a mellow factor any way you look at it. When people sit up here and say, well, you're just using your child as a sympathy crutch. You want people to tune in and gravitate towards you because you lost a kid. That's wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? That's absolutely saying that you don't have no heart. And, that's one of Caleb Plant's wedges, man, that he has for David Benavidez and his father, I believe. They mentioned that Caleb Plant continues to mention the loss of his daughter, and he shouldn't. His daughter is gone, so you shouldn't be talking about it. That's pretty much the insinuation I got with why Caleb Plant is extremely upset with David Benavidez and his people, because they were trying to make it seem like the man was just using his daughter in the narrative to get sympathy. And I don't think that's the case at all, especially from someone who lost a kid somewhat similar fashion than as Caleb Plant did. I would be remiss, man. I just can't sit up here, even come close to saying I agree with that. All bullshit aside, every time he's spoken about that to the small amount of people he mentioned it was probably weighing heavy on his heart, man. But listen, Caleb Plant and David Benavidez has to fight. They got to fight. They have to settle this in the square. What is going to happen anytime soon outside of the pandemic getting resuscitated, we don't know. But check this out. It's another mouthpiece back in the fray again that's trying to slide in and get a fight with Caleb Plant. Your boy, Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs has been up here saying that, hey, it's a lot of holes in Caleb Plant's game. And I guess, a guy that stepped in there with Canelo Alvarez didn't get it done. Didn't look overly impressive when he was fighting for the IBF middleweight title. I mean, Daniel Jacobs is not on my high list of fighters that I'm just going to give all these praises to, because he just seems like he just cannot change it over in the big fights, man. Even with Triple G, a lot of people say he won that fight, but ultimately when it come down to BoxRec, he didn't get the job done. So now he want to say Caleb Plant has a lot of holes in his game. So I guess Jacobs is trying to get another big fight. Is stepping there with Caleb Plant. I'm gonna tell you, y'all, Caleb Plant can box now. Caleb Plant can box. Caleb Plant is slick. He can box. And I know his last opponent, German fighter, Vincent Feigenboots. A lot of people are gonna say, man, that dude won none. He was tough, dude. Caleb did what he had to do to get the win, get the stoppage. So for Daniel Jacobs to want to, insert his name into the equation to fight Caleb Plant, I hope it doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Now that Daniel Jacobs has moved up from 160, and the first thing they want to say is so-and-so has a lot of flaws. People are going to say the same thing about you. Like at 160, like why we never saw anything transpire between you and Jamal Charlo. You got the Canelo fight. I mean, come on, bro. Like, why didn't we see the M's, man? It was all about the M's. You know what I'm saying? If it was all about the pull-up game, Why didn't we never see anything maturate? Why haven't we seen that take place? Now you up at 168 and you saying the first person that you want to zoom in on is Caleb Plant. I don't think that's a good fight stylistically for Daniel Jacobs to consider moving up to 168. I'm not saying he won't, put in some rounds, but I'm just saying you had your opportunity with Canelo Alvarez. We was really hoping that you go in there and shock the world a little bit and give Canelo his second loss, and you just didn't get it done. Seriously. I'm just being in all honesty, man. I still remember the fight with Selecki, man, using your home backyard, and you wasn't listening to what your coach was telling you to do. So you can go over there and say that he has holes in his game, but if you don't want to listen to your corner, what is it going to benefit you? Your corner telling you, okay, come forward, be the aggressor. Press the action. But yet you're fighting off the back foot. I mean, how's that gonna benefit you stepping in there with a fighter like Caleb Plant? Just because you're in the division and you want to make a name for yourself. I want to see Caleb Plant and David Benavidez, be honest. That's just my thought. I want to see David Benavidez and Caleb Plant unify the super middleweight division. That's what I want to see. Oleksandr Vostok, Arthur Beterbiev. Them two has been talking. I mean, not so much back and forth verbal sparring, but Vostok is like, I want to try to go get my rematch with Arthur Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? Beterbiev is 15-0, 15 knockouts, y'all. He's a problem. But Vostok want to go back over there in the light heavyweight division and try to get his title back after he get a couple of fights or whatever. So right now, from my understanding, the WBO title in the light heavyweight division is vacant. So I believe what is going to happen, they're going to have like a little small tournament. They're going to have maybe two sets of fighters fight, and the winner of both fight for the WBO title. I can assure you probably Gilberto Ramirez is going to be in that situation. Gilberto Ramirez was a former super middleweight champion, tall, slender guy. He has over 45 fights, I believe, and hardly nobody knows who he is if you don't follow boxing outside of the casual glow of passing by and then keep it moving. Gilberto Ramirez is absolutely at the front door to be in contention for that WBO light heavyweight title. Real talk. So don't say I ain't tell you. You know what I'm saying? Don't say World Combat Sports did not mention his name. So that's going to be pretty interesting in itself. Arthur Beterbiev, and then also you have Vostok and Ramirez, and whoever else that may be in that fight. I don't see Arthur Beterbiev in a tournament to fight for that WBO title. I don't think so. I think he's going to stay unified, be over here, and then those guys are going to contend for that WBO title. But that's the way I look at it, people. We'll see if it goes down that way. Well, that's pretty much talking up from the 135-pound division all the way up to 175 light heavyweight division. Like I tell people, it's more to boxing than just Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people are hooked on Errol Spence, but it's only so much talking points you can do with Errol Spence. He will be back in several months from now. There's other freaking divisions like the light heavyweight, the super middleweight division. The 160 is pretty stale right now. I'm just gonna be honest. The middleweight division is just, we need something to happen. We need a spark. We need somebody to light the lantern and toss it in a freaking bucket of gasoline. We need something to happen, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And then we already know what needs to happen at 154. We're close for unification, but not close enough. And then for 147, we talked about that. But 135, man, has a lot of freaking potential. A lot of potential. I just can't wait for everything to come into place. You know what I'm saying? It's a star. If the stars align, man, for this constellation to goddamn brighten up some future matchups in the lightweight division, let's see it. Let's see that shit. It has a lot of boxing stars that can light up the 135-pound division. Seriously, I just hope one of those matches is Vasily Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, and so they can unify the titles. In the interim, I believe Teofimo is going to have to face somebody else other than Vasily Lomachenko. Truly. I think he's going to have to face somebody else outside of Vasily at this point in time if you want to pick up a paycheck. Now, speaking of paychecks, Teofimo said on his live that, you know, he did receive a call and he basically made a point to reference that he's not hurting for money. Whatever that means, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we've been in a pandemic and you good for 2 months, cool. If you ain't struggling for money, cool. But why not get back in the camp when you're saying you're bored and have your people pick a damn good fight for you so we can start getting some traction. Like, okay, who is he fighting? Who's the name that Teofimo Lopez is fighting? You know what I'm saying? Is it going to be any of the popular names that we've been talking about on social media? Is it possible? That's what we want to know. And once again, it's not going to be Javante, but any of those three names that's out there, you know, let's see it. If Gary Russell's going to move up, if Devin Haney is going to be the next one on the slot, Ryan Garcia, every time I want to mention his name, I keep thinking about, like, he's still green, but I'm looking at his record. I'm like, the dude is undefeated with 20 fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's undefeated, y'all. And he has 17 knockouts, right? If I'm not mistaken. Like, that's a pretty good record. Look, I can't sit up here and say, well, let me look at it this way. Ryan Garcia is a bit green when he's like 20-0, right? But then again, I offer just a little bit of criticism to say the same thing about Jerome Ennis. You know what I'm saying? Jerome Ennis' record is up there. He's undefeated, but yet he hasn't faced anybody. Yeah, I'm talking about Boots. But if I'm going to say that about Boots, I have to, look at what I'm saying about Ryan Garcia too. Ryan Garcia is undefeated. Both of them guys, and when you get into 20 and you're undefeated, it's time for you to goddamn step up and do something. Seriously, it's time. Jerome Ennis is like at the back half of the top 15 in the welterweight. I would really like to see him step up his competition. Just like I would see Ryan Garcia. I want to see Ryan Garcia step up his competition. Forget all the goddamn videos, all the mitt drills, all the speed drills, all this other shit. Fight somebody and convince us that you can go in there and win versus a big name. You know what I'm saying? That's all we want to see. I'm telling you, all this bitch calling, you know what I'm saying? All this bitch calling, they're going to have to figure that shit out. Seriously. Patrick, what's good? What's good? Salute, man. Let me check out. I really don't know who you talk about, but you know what? I got time to check it out. Y'all name dropping. Got to be careful about people name dropping. Let me see what we're looking at. So, what should I know, Patrick, about this guy? Just give me a little insight on who you're talking about. Is he 2-0 right now, or something like that? Is that the fighter you're talking about? But yeah, as I was saying, we'll take our time and be patient for this lightweight division to kind of come together, man, in the upcoming months. Being that the UFC was able to throw 3 fight cards, they were successful. Now boxing is definitely going to get on deck, and we should be able to see, the lightweight division put on some matches, welterweight division, and of course we have the heavyweight division, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. They'll probably sooner or later, but possibly end of this year or early 2021, step back in the square together. And I ended with this when it comes to Tyson Fury. I hear a lot of people saying that Deontay Wilder doesn't deserve a rematch. I'm not talking about, let's not get funny with the words. I already know they've been in there twice, right? But I'm just talking about coming off the loss of his title. I hear so many people talking about Deontay Wilder does not deserve a rematch with Tyson Fury to try to get his title back, right? And I don't know why the general public is so easy to be comfortable with that flowing off their tongue and cracking their lips open to say deserving. Like, why wouldn't somebody who defended the title as much as he has and basically reigned as long as he has as champion, why wouldn't he deserve to go back in there and compete for his honor and try to regain his title? Because when Tyson Fury didn't take the immediate rematch after being knocked down in the 12th round, y'all was saying that he really won the match. Take away the knockdown, he really won the fight, right? But Tyson Fury did not take the immediate rematch with Deontay Wilder. He fought Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin, and then went over to the WWE and fought Braun Strowman. So therefore, what I'm trying to tell you is I didn't hear the same energy when Anthony Joshua got his ass beat down by Andy Ruiz. And if I'm not mistaken, Anthony Joshua was knocked down several times, right? And even in that damn melee, Anthony Joshua spit his gum shield out, as he always does. Because you look at the tough fights with Anthony Joshua, he ain't ripping tape off his glove to get a timeout when he's tired. He's spitting out his gum shield, all that, right? I did not hear the voices as a collective echo when Anthony Joshua got his ass whooped by Andy Ruiz. I wasn't hearing people say, you know what, Anthony Joshua don't deserve that shit, man. Anthony Joshua don't deserve no rematch. The way he looked, he was a unified champion, and he let Andy Ruiz, a last-minute replacement when Jarrell Miller popped, come in and take his titles. He doesn't deserve a rematch. I didn't hear that shit. But Deontay Wilder goes in here, takes punishment, ended the fight on his feet, towel thrown in, and I hear a lot of hoopla talking about he doesn't deserve a rematch. You know why? Because that's boxing. When people have their own little energy and judgment about certain fighters they want to love and be enamored with, you know what I'm saying? Live vicariously through. And there's a lot of y'all motherfuckers out here want to live vicariously through Anthony Joshua. Y'all love to hope that you could get yourself in the type of shape of Anthony Joshua. You wish you go in there and practice your accent in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Now Anthony Joshua, man, he's one of those guys. Just he keeps me motivated every single time I awake. I just want to be Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? I just wish I had the physique, the aesthetics, and the muscles that Anthony Joshua. Y'all motherfuckers want to live vicariously through Anthony Joshua. Half Nigerian and white, right? Okay. So you get Deontay Wilder from Alabama, he don't get no love, but Anthony Joshua does, even in defeat, right? But y'all saying that Deontay Wilder, who finished the fight on his feet, does not deserve a rematch is asinine, period. It's selfish, it's closed-minded, and you all cannot be hardcore boxing fans that say the man don't deserve. I think a lot of y'all just want to see Tyson Fury go over there and fight Anthony Joshua, but pump the brakes. He has a mandatory in Kubrat Pulev. Are you all going to donate to pay the step-aside money? Are you all going to pay the step-aside money for Deontay Wilder? Are y'all going to pay the step-aside money for Kubrat Pulev? Who's going to pay the step-aside? Who's saying that Deontay Wilder is going to take step-aside? Because Kubrat Pulev is basically, from the point, the energy I'm getting from him, he wants his shot at Anthony Joshua. He doesn't want to wait on the sideline for undisputed unification between Fury and Joshua. He doesn't want to wait. But the casual and the general public, they love talking about who deserves and who don't. First of all, you're not looking at the body of work. And you can say everybody that Deontay Wilder has fought doesn't add up to your acceptance. I get it. But then you better show enough lean to the right and say, well, I can say the same thing about Tyson Fury. Don't bring in a hand-selected Vladimir Klitschko and say, yeah, this is it right here. This is the name that halos Tyson Fury's entire career. A guy who was inactive for a year and a half and came back in there and fought and really wasn't trying to be champion. But when he started whooping Joshua's ass, he was like, shit, I'm feeling good out here in Wembley. Shit, what the fuck you talking about? And wasn't Deontay Wilder on deck? Wasn't Deontay Wilder on deck at that fight? What's the problem? Y'all gonna continue to the man's gonna be 35 soon, and y'all gonna hate the man all the way out the door of boxing, and y'all gonna sit up here and say, well, the Frank Bruno of the modern day, Anthony Joshua, he can go over here and continue to meet the canvas and genuflect, and y'all show him love like that's the hardest punch in the game, like he has the most solid chin in the game. That's all I hear when it comes to Anthony Joshua, man. I'm not saying Anthony Joshua might not be a good guy, but a lot of y'all motherfuckers are trying to live vicariously through this cat. That's all I'm saying. He can do no wrong in your eyes. Deontay Wilder talk shit. Oh, it's a problem. He's classless. Deontay's classless. He's talking shit again. Add a little accent to it. Oh, he's a bloody bloke. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He don't come nowhere close to me as a fighter. I've sat up here. One, I'm the unified champion twice. Two, when I was knocked down against Andy Ruiz, I really wasn't the fighter that I was when I stepped in there with Vladimir, Carlos Takam, Joseph Parker. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't me. So, I have to look back on that. Three, and say, I thank God that I was able to regain my titles from a pudgy, overweight, caramel nougat, snicker-eating, buffet-style fighter as Andy Ruiz. You know what I'm saying? I have to congratulate myself because I was able to pull it off. But four, did I duck Deontay Wilder when the $50 million was actually offered? Yes. But who cares? I'm two division. I mean, no, I take that back. I wish I was two division, but I'm two-time unified champion. And no, I do not want to face Deontay Wilder. But yet I'll face Tyson Fury, who defeated Wilder. Do I have an opportunity, number 5, of winning? Well, if the fight is in the UK, yes. But I don't dare want to go over there to the US again. I just have such nightmares. I don't want to go over there anymore. I mean, I like it, You know what I'm saying? I like it. The food is great. And everybody knows me. I think all two of them. And I really want this fight to be over either on Pluto, Venus, Saudi Arabia, anywhere but the US of A. I don't really plan on going back over to the USA anytime soon because I just don't have confidence in my heart to be able to regain the titles, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I just, you know what I mean? I don't get it. I just cannot put myself through the rigors of going to the US and fighting. So really, all I hope is for Tyson Fury to get his license back so we can potentially fight over here in the UK. I have another ref that Eddie Hearns selectively placed in there, so I won't take that much punishment. So I can scoop the WBC title, so I can become undisputed heavyweight champion, and therefore I will be better than Lennox Lewis. Come on. I want people to adore me like they adore Lennox Lewis. Yeah, y'all want that shit. Y'all want motherfucker to got there. Y'all want to praise and give adulation to Anthony Joshua. He will never get the same respect Lennox Lewis. Never. A part of me, if I had to take a knee and pray to the boxing gods, you know, if there was a pantheon that I can seek out in prayer, I would say, man, I wish Lennox Lewis was active right now, because Anthony Joshua don't come close to the dog Lennox Lewis had. Even with Lennox Lewis 2 knockouts, his 2 losses being knockouts, still fans will put him in favor over Joshua for life. For life, period. There's no way he can compare. There's no way he can compare to many fighters that's from London. No way he can compare. But if you want to talk about mauling, you want to talk about, ducking. Anthony Joshua, one of the biggest duckers, absolutely. And that's not going anywhere. You can't request a certain amount of money for a fight, but it demands you fight in the States. And then you turn back around and say, no, I can't do it. For one, I didn't get permission from Eddie Hearns. 2, I really, in my heart, I don't want to basically take the fight with Wilder because, my chin is a little bit wet confetti. And you know what happens to wet confetti? When it hits, it explodes. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. All that. Seriously. He ducked, he dodged, and he ran. And then he want to say for Tyson Fury, if you want me to help you train for Deontay Wilder, just let me know. How can you help Tyson Fury do anything and you haven't even traveled the road Tyson Fury has traveled? Tyson Fury step over here in the US of A, he don't give a fuck. Tyson Fury does not care. He'll come on here to the US of A and do what he got to do. Period. He don't care. He'll get it in. That's not you, Anthony Joshua. Enough. I don't like getting on Anthony Joshua too much because he can take me to the AM. You know what I'm saying? He has a lot of fans out here that give him passes, but they won't give Deontay Wilder a pass either for the same shit. Anthony Joshua go out here and look absolutely terrible, but yet all they want to talk about is Tyson Fury defeating Deontay Wilder. I get it. Y'all hate the man. I get it. But that same hate should generate across the board to Anthony Joshua for the way he looked against Andy Ruiz. Both fights. First fight and the rematch. He ran from a guy who was extremely overweight. Extremely overweight. But I didn't hear people saying he ran the entire time, man. That shit was bullshit, dog. I paid money for that. I was looking for a fight. We did not get that. We got like, you know what? That mate. We have to give it up. We really do have to give it up for the mate. He fought a smart fight. I really appreciate what he put into really focusing on the dynamic of his offensive strategy. I truly respect him for that. He went in there on somebody else's soil and he showed that he's a global superstar, and he defeated Andy Ruiz with the ASICs that we had just purchased. And he ran for the entire, no, he didn't run. He basically used ring generalship on the outside and boxed at a distance and was able to get the win. How can you not be enamored at the fact of how smart his ring IQ is? That is Anthony Joshua. You all have to see him for what he is. He is one of the all-time greats. Treat him as such. Treat him as such. Now, for Deontay Wilder, we don't know if he'll ever come back to the sport. That's the shit you hear. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit you hear all the time. And yeah, I'm clowning. I'm not gonna lie. I'm clowning. But that's what I do when it comes to Joshua, man. Because y'all hate Deontay Wilder so much. But y'all glorify Anthony Joshua. And y'all know that man doesn't have a chin. Y'all know he don't want to fight Wilder, even without a belt. And you know if Tyson Fury steps in there with Anthony Joshua, he gets dusted, washed, whatever you want to call it. And that's all I got, people. It's always been a pleasure. World Combat Sports. Turn up and tune in. This has been your Catchweight Media episode 710 in the books. And once again, I need to tell you, if it's catchweight on the thumbnail, people, it will be strictly about boxing. If not, then more than likely you're going to hear some mixed martial arts. I'm listening to the supporters. Being that I cover two spectrums of combat sports, I get where they're coming from, talking about MMA and boxing. It's just not something I'm willing to change. If I was to just basically speak about boxing all the time, man, seriously, it'll be a whole nother channel. But speaking about boxing and mixed martial arts, you will always have the perimeter in between of fans that's on one side or the other. And you're not going to have them just basically jumping the fence. You know, boxing fans jumping the fence over the mixed martial arts and vice versa, mixed martial arts to boxing. It doesn't work that way. A lot of fans want to be strictly to boxing channels, and I get it. I get it. But until next time, salute, people. Thanks for tuning in. Everyone, be sure to pass the word and subscribe to the channel. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. Salute.